What to do for a jiba, tam ji, jibe, mine, Yambi. Simjian, tam ji, deva, don, den, Lumara, don, chi, Yordu, Lana, mi, para, yanta, para, zobe, chanchu, rambo, chi, to, para, chai, dala, dam, chibe, jai, no, para, chibe, ke, tarva, don, tam ji, chembe, what to do. Chiba tamji jesu chibe ma namga dang nyambe simjian tamji deva dang den dungwa yordu lana mi bara yang tabara zobe chancho rambo je to bara shai dala damara jai no bara chibe ge tarva dang tamji jembe wadu jo bara chiba tamji jesu chibe ma namga dang nyambe simjian tamji deva dang den 동아라 당지 여드라나 메바라 양다바라 조베 장초른 보시 토바라 샤티지르 상마제제 바드농아 이송게와라 고르 마시 바드농아 이송게와 되전에네 송리니마 상다 잠제 바드농아 이송게와라 고레 장초먼베 마론나 가나님바 현재비 소바고 예죠 지워질라 구찬시 이나트라요에
Yeah, digital.
我咱那就是把录进的这就是嘛来公把做啥看上报纸面上印把双我真把上真的报纸看到了咱这每次确诊那从确诊这么的他就有把他就凶双我这真的不看电视那么看的也不当红毛那么的红把他就是吃酒饭都用都被他们看全部跟先把去说第一次查把不老他娘嘛他几把关键通浪的不看现在看就几把汤帮几把都是后来等把上万对吧都是泡沫了说通浪没去吧他妈就我事情去看着嘛看着嘛不对不的样子那说实在是都是嘛浪下我是弄啥呢
没错
我知道买这些的东西我嘛吧这嘛这嘛东西
So we continue with Milarepa songs. So last time we stopped at a place where Milarepa had already passed into nirvana, and so a fire, a funeral pyre, manifested, and there were various signs such as shapes of stupas, so the fire turned into various shapes, and so forth. So when we continue from there, So then it continues. Even the sparks took the form of goddesses, bearing many offerings. The chants of worship and the crackling of the dazzling fire sounded like the melodious tones of various musical instruments, such as violins, flutes, and tambourines. The smoke permeated everything with the fragrance of perfume in the sky. Above the funeral pyre, young gods and goddesses poured a stream of nectar from the vases they held and offered abundant delights for the five senses. The lamas and the venerable lay people were filled with joy. All the disciples, monks, and lay devotees saw the funeral pyre in the form of a resplendent celestial mansion, while the corpse itself was seen variously as Hebadram, Chakasambara, Goyasamajam, or Vashavarahi. Then the Dakinis sang with one voice. Also,
Gore you be not on the Tuba and Javu Chotin Tech, Dolton Jansen, Quadanta, Tashi baby, Yungdung Chi, Yvon, Hamo, Tomai, Pujang, Yen Chair, Humble Hami, Troba, China, the one, Shujansar, Lama Chukun, Namkala, Lonku Monam, Lama Chukun, Namkala, Lonku Monam, Chotite, Turkunchen, Method, Juji Miba, Baba in Dujalo, Miba, Kanya Jeva, Miba, Juni Jimmy, Lomba. 东半年来监港米被进行搞块东尼着，你才装东西，你这才装东西昂死，我在这种多就上这个上的入门的，就把忙不在穷游吧，我这说这是呢，就上做我这那么通过他们说的是，经常说没需要这个养成啥的是，我这那么出去那么了。龙坤这忙那忙不特别的是，这个这之前这没到那一家伙的运气没吧？我这都家做到他没的是，刚要结完没吧？结完没吧？去年东半年来健康没，谢谢搞吧，东年啊，人家才装东西，从30马路上的是，对有的嘛，这么老不是，其他不是，
And so first, so to summarize the song, so in the beginning, the Dakini is saying that now I'm having many musical instruments and various offerings have manifested to be offered to the Guru, and the ultimate Guru is the Dharmakaya. So I'm going to read the end then. And so in the expanse of the Lama's Dharmakaya, there gathers the cloud of Sambhogakaya through his resolute will and compassion, producing actions of Nirmanakaya like an unceasing rain of flowers. He thereby brings the crop of seekers to their fruition. The Dharma Dhatu, the ultimate nature of all things, is empty, unconditioned, and devoid of becoming. The emptiness is without coming to be and passing away. Even the conditioned arising and dissolution are empty in their innate nature. So cast away your doubts and misgivings. So.
也是呢，让自己你们父母从嘛上面那让把现在不讲这些那些同米从嘛，这个不老公你们公就不懂得别个，不讲那头，来那个确定我进步进，从真的来年纪多长，咱们叫上对帮我来说过，他可能只有多这趟只有红巴上，像这样趟，各种途径上网来说，印度上。不看给我看嘛，他再做嘛，代表穷，错七八他没办法，他弄有我这样门堂嘛都用，我来说看嘛，托呢，托那没上级没下把穷，我他提这的可是呢，他罗嘛是上面提这的呢，可以不看秋天的问题，同的什么，可以给这来看咱们的，我可以给强生都接触不了，说咱们的他同那。 ingzhu zhang de zhan me da ten tong lang chung res wo te ten yu qi ne tong lang me da mo bo chung res song duo.
And so then after that so all these flames disappeared, and then later the disciples looked around and they saw different things. So there some saw a large stupa, and others saw forms of deities. Some saw implements, some like the bajra and the bell, and some saw seed syllables, and so forth. So.
tene di se chaba polo nyama ta ji ba chaba polo nyama ta ji ba na ba pur kan xie chi de dong ta de se la so mo hu tian nam ji be won sa jian mo bo chung ban do nyam de ga yi le nga pur kan la go yin de sim na su so me se to ran re chung be ki na si be sin na la kan ro de nye ta jin na za zo ne ru be jian je ru be jian je jian be ta ran da be kan ro ga se ngon jang tu men do yong nga ke ba de mi ba do yong che ba de mi ba to ne por kan cho ba bu ke do mo nam je tar kar yor ba se din ne por kan la de be na wo gar bo je ri je jian de ba do ba sing mo jung si ye me te kan ru ke ren xian nam dian de ba si nyam ne por kan na ne nam ba la chung be do je che ro bu nam de bo de por kan sai be por kan dong tie za yang ma lu ba dian chang san do sta te ri do ta工作提供工大的了不看跟过年上你他东人些忙不急其他的忙不啥子咱们什么个问的兄弟也的是基本上这对的呢热衷是先把你口的热衷是嘛等看到的呢是看到个些忙着忙不用的呢这个我个不晓得看到的这样的通的是我这能通对的呢热衷可能都这不是给到不看那这里不看那太少了嘛是的
and so then in the early dawn, and then so then the Dakinis were surrounded by their retinues, so they were Dakinis, and everyone was overjoyed, having seen all these wonderful appearances, these wonderful signs. And so then also Rajungpa was fascinated by the spectacular scene, and he moved toward the cremation cell and was wondering if the Dakinis were actually taking away the relics, Milarepa's relics. And then the Dakinis flew upward in the sky, and so then Rajungpa began to examine the cell, and then saw that so he and his Vajra brothers, they examined the cell, and then they saw that the Dakinis actually had carried away all of the relics, and they left nothing behind, not even the ashes.
这种透用的，但看着嘛，那么的去东开国做别个看着嘛，那么那里去那回头那么东开是东上的些，他把新出口我这边没错呢，所以话他的技术能用，现在那么技术人家这个没人家。da bula mecher je thongwa zam maji ba dongthang re ser me won mirang nam je ke kawa yi sen nam ka din do be den nyam de dungyang de lun de na so won so ba de tap so wa ta re chung to ju won da chi di ma dong ke so go ze la res wa de ne kan ro de chi ran so sem mo ji ran sem chu ko mo ji wa ti ma de na de so ba to ze xin ji chu na de res te la res de re chung de ba res dan won la res.
So then Rajungpa was saddened by this, and so then he demanded a portion of the relics from the Dakinis for the human beings. And then the Dakinis said to him that if you are not content in the Guru's Dharmakaya, then you should, which is actually the most sacred of all relics, then you should supplicate your guru. And then Milarepa, Rajungpa considered, and he thought that they are true, that they are right. He recognized the truth of what the Dakinis had said, and then he sang a song of realization. So.
跟着民间出来的东厂的是毛片的，生产用了土接送，结果是了小辈节气差不公平，出差准出我就是讲他们用了差点的东厂的是毛片的，或者普罗那么东厂的是毛片的，通那么土接送，也普罗那的修正了，年龄没别土接件，我些这边一些件。特别通了这玩意，东厂的是毛片的，跟着后来土接送，也毛不出去修正了，强身级别各地界。这是特别浪漫的，东岸间了，他或者东厂的是毛片的，日本米东厂的是毛片的，日本米的土接送，这就没顾虑特别多，可就这边那就了，那是出去用这边，看着用这做过，东厂的是毛，那做不了土接送。但样的东人是俺那罗起噻，就热情说了大不了是，good。
And so in this song, Drupon essentially says, please grant us relics, your relics for our devotion. That's so.
那后来，那么就给东阳去做了大饼，看到恰去我听，那的我在看到那个些出发人才，讲我给公安咱们几块不看去等于买件出去后来那个桥上这个俺一种的点点清白，人才是哪里能把它穷的看到恰去我他那天呢，恰你所求的恰的生活吃上变得别嘛年代上一边去点确把它恰进的其实都有昨天去其实那些就看怎么了，我在看到那个。俺这把些，他上街东，咱你去过了，反正那人把心觉得些给他做那差了么，这把些就把通的记住，多看着掐了，看着那么的掐这些，确保不行，让这些秋天的你过年去做，看着么你可以用光这种说，我咋他妈老强样。
Awesome. Then Rajungpa invoked Milarepa by singing tearfully in a mournful tone, and thereupon the chief Dakini cast from her hand a sacred object as large as a hen's egg, which projected a stream of light in 5 colors and descended toward the cremation cell. All the chief disciples stretched out their hands, each claiming it for himself. Then the object ascended again and was absorbed into the light which the chief Dakini was holding. The light then split in two, one part becoming a lion's throne with a lotus cushion surmounted by sun and moon. A crystal stupa took shape from the other part of the light and came to rest upon the throne. Lights in 5 colors began to shine forth from the stupa. The stupa was 1 foot high and was surrounded by the 1,002 Buddhas. Its 4 terraces were occupied by resplendent yidams of the 4 classes of the Tantra in the natural order. Seated inside its spherical chamber was the form of Milarepa, about 6 inches in height. The Dakinis who were prostrating themselves and worshipping him sang this song, supported by 2 others who were guarding the stupa.
我爹爸经常写吧，我们总把那所谓干点这批不老呢，我会对我差不多，拍一每年不行，东厂的是毛片的，生产用了那个是，18年呢，大边就突击，个什么主玩意，同面可玩没同的，爹爸经常早上就可提来鸟些了，人家像我公啊什么，老玩用这毛片的，打开去吧没错别，特别有时候看了多，我讲说吧，大边突击穷途门这边，他们这上街节他们这。一旦考虑点巧了，突出是被间接的，经过哪怕经过用作呗，包括看着就清楚，工作做吧一些啦，往个人我说苗头就，你那做吧点的，其他建议门着看着这些，咱这都把就跟成年了，只可拿双劳动者，现在现在秋天出岗了，都也上街动产，就这些车他们我是穷吧，我在没有做吧点的，成年穷途门着，就从这些咱这。那么个上因为了，就这个被阶段那边穷了，都被主公这人这个穷吧，我在是不会都没超过，现在做吧点的我这穷途门着位，这都用些他们这我是中嘛，他们先用些他们我这位，结果这从这么新巴了，马上看着俺去过，除了我靠马进了，要头超别我听，那时候见到没到，用我在话会把打上我靠门这位。 这对话题出版业，桥堂这些门都为那么大把用水他把，昆这东把前头呢，公把用水他把，都是有空呢多把了，九把用水他把，那边中间他把，他这用水他把，生前规矩通着呢，这个用水他把，老帮了都给这把了，这把用水他把，大堂我这就完了，老王用水他把，他这要么用，说他说，几乎了那么些东西都是，他这么老想过噻。
Also, so then this is the song of the Rakinis. 000Songs, Devakyong, the sustainer of joy. Oh yeah. So this name Devakyong here, or in English, sustainer of joyful peace, refers to Rajungpa. So Devakyong, Shiva, master of Nyanzong, and other blessed disciples clad in cotton. With the intensity of your veneration and yearning, you call upon the name of your spiritual father that he may grant you and all human beings the relics and the evolved crystals as objects of your devotion. By the force of your invocations coming from the depths of your hearts, and by the power of Milarepa's compassion, you have seen the emanation of his Trikaya, and thus you need not return to the cycle of birth and death. If you devote yourself faithfully, you will attain full enlightenment. From the unique sphere of the Dharmakaya emerged the sacred relic as big as a hen's egg. It is an object of devotion for all human beings. Yet you cannot get it by seizing it. Why should it remain amidst profanity? But if you earnestly invoke Jetsun again, his compassion for you will never diminish, for there is a solemn commitment of all Buddhas for your sake. Through the ever-unfolding actions arising out of the Dharmakaya, earthly manifestations emerge in their diverse forms. Your Yidam, Chakasambhara, appeared together with his consort in the posture of union, adorning themselves magnificently with ornaments of sepulchral bones. The sky was filled with a mandala of deities. The offerings of the Dakas and Dakinis spread like a cloud. The supremely manifested Sambhogakaya gave the initiation which enables you rapidly to achieve realization. If you are capable of invoking them, their spiritual influences will never diminish. For there is a solemn commitment of all Dakinis for your sake. By the ever-unfolding actions of the Buddhas in the Dharmakaya, their reincarnations take on diverse forms. Therefore, there appeared a crystal stupa 1 foot in height, surrounded by the 1,002 Buddhas, as depicted in the sutras, and ornamented with the yidam described in the 4 classes of Tantra. What a wonderful vision before our eyes! If you are capable of invoking them without being distracted, their unfolding actions will never diminish. For there is a solemn commitment of all guardian deities for your sake. The Lama, who has unified all 3 aspects of enlightenment, acts by appearing in many miraculous forms. It is indeed wonderful that he manifests himself in this small but visible form as an object for our devotion. If you are capable of invoking him from the recesses of your heart with an intense veneration and yearning, his influence on your direct realization will never diminish, for there is a solemn commitment of all awakened masters for your sake. If you sincerely abide by your own spiritual vows, all guardian deities will support you. If you can live in mountain solitude, the upholders of wisdom, Dakas and Dakinis, will naturally gather around you. Applying yourself sincerely to the Dharma is the advanced sign of your rapid realization. If you are free from desire for pleasure, you have removed the root of your mental defilements. If you do not cling to the notion of personal self and universal substance as a true reality, Obstacles and disruptive forces will be banished. If you no longer cling to duality, your insight has reached its perfection. If you can perceive samsara and nirvana as empty, your meditation has reached its perfection. If self-denial springs forth from the depths of your consciousness, your practice has reached its perfection. If your Lama foretells your destined task, your commitment has reached its perfection. If you seek to serve all sentient beings, your aim has reached its perfection. If master and disciples achieve a spiritual harmony, their relationship has reached its perfection. If you recognize the signs and state of your realization, your perceptive visions have reached their perfection. The quality of your communal harmony, your awakened experience with its inner warmth and all its signs, let these, my children, serve as your share of the relics.
Oh, yeah, 뒤에 좀비 다른 칸로만 초天的 불업는데 레지된 전부치 티데 샤디 신감시엔도 된된비 잡치진도 베레바 시와고 지상바는 칸로 쳐지 초天的 니 불업나나 초조비 된수 휴고 원념의 동양 조반데 다고 워스테스 온잖아.
After this song, the Dakinis showed the stupa to all disciples. When the Dakinis were about to depart to other realms, they placed the stupa upon a throne of precious jewels. Wishing to beg of the Dakinis, who were holding the stupa, that they leave it as an object for human devotion, Shiva Milarepa invoked them with this song.
Oh, yeah, 사실이 너 당고는 맞네. 파신노 주변에 메소견 노주도변 애들은 노예의 탐지차 추그 추제제 추제고라 소르반에 카로차제 주제 어라나만도 노만도 예초톱 남탕 제비 린첸서제 좀마다 린탐미비 내ጆ라 양바견라서 근로자제 초된라 불안이 불안 남마 제라메 셔토 치료를 양간로케 외랑 누나 페베 내줘라 투제잖아 소르반에 제 차와 당비 제 차와 투제잖아 소르반에 지지차와 당비 진지견 차와 당비 장송리 피에 절보니 주라미비 내줘 닝섭잖아 소르반 제 남에 담아 공부 담음으로 서바 최소미바 내줘라 닝주잖아 소르반에 니미는 동동바 점자 자케 방무 좀이 주라미비 내줘라 주마방라 소르반에 제 다상 준추 동자는 나전 다신 간모라 냥마미비 내줘라 지바 치베 소르반에 제 냥방 초다 제자는 중연다와 내진다 담내차비 내줘라 진지미바 소르반에 이제 간단도나 중단은 니마메 현 티반다 뭐지 접동지비 내줘라 가리잖아 소르반에 선생도 장치자 요추살라 통화 주마망고 내줘 내쇼미라 소르반에 제만 모든 소파 중단은 담내니마 셔반 음바미 문바시베 내줘라 진체세잖아 소르반에 담내미 제자나 바방포자 파상분이 티바 지편지비 내줘라 참바잖아 소르반에 진 가추니 내수 예다 모르브데지 혼바라 원도중에 내줘라 영화사잖아 소르반에 모시 제모시에 농된 지다나 하산라관 초반에 추바미바 소르반에 제수 좀잖아 소르바 제모좀 요트 나다나 파예풀라 넘보라 fon바미비 내줘라 투제잖아 소르반에 카로차긴 조된다 볼업나나 나와 제소르바다비키 와타 도르드는 시고르 믹스지 자시면 다 제주케 추치도 닝루 첨보도 나만 지도 tem바 첨보를 선루치네 다들 칸로 조버튼 칸로 차 쳐대든가 지수도 소르반데 비스 칸로 차 쳐대든가 나로치 살아표레
And so to summarize this song by Shiva, so he praises the Guru Milarepa for having practiced the Dharma with such great determination and devotion unto the Guru, and so then he is supplicating to the Dakinis at the end, so that this stupa that you're holding in your hands, please give it to us. So please give it to us disciples as a support for our devotion.
저는 양秋天당 기초 그 고티 레바 시바 우지 휴베 내한선 남이 코사 주변 권도 좀 소스템 하고서는
And to this invocation of Shiva came the answer in a song from the form of Jitsun in the stupa, dispelling errors of judgment about things that appear to be alike.
저는 자 원나 간데 세바지 하나동에 서바 연세제피 불러 고보멜라 제반 초크군라 차바 공반이라 휴tom 수크 예수 템바는 구족동타 리센 리고제도 절반 원전 발배 초대한 로바 용지 로바 용지 초지kin 교내 타페 현도지 원년 컨트롤 등의 차단 창출하상 컨트롤부 미유샤단 예전 그런 남제 거바다 상심 초크 모디 동상에서 참바 tennyamsulembe lamdusu dami kursan denda maji suna ponanchi tselian lama denba mesonam jena denba danda la nodo yisong semna sherba mesolo ye joban danda la nodo komnyume rangsa shiba sinezla jarban danda la nodo anjungdu be rangsha 통통 망보 템바니 다다다라 노도 심리 이트미 젠통다 삼바 상보 펜도니 다다다라 노도 우르된데 샤바 선생 망보 손은 다상다라 노도 마당 칸도 농텐 산란 중보 방보 다다다라 노도 칸로드베 트냐 두제조베 버티 다다다라 노도 추코지미 농거다 세마제제 링세니 다다다라 노도 듀베 연제 메토 동감사의 메토 다다다라 노도 동네제베 초텐 주례 하에秋天이 다다다라 노도도 나시 자부 그렇게 용화전제 자부 체 다다다라 노도 다다다라 노도 모전내초 시바 전내제베 세바 모전내초 대바 전내제베 세바 다다다라 노도 세바니네 제바 모산티제 세바 다다다라 노도 년내 주바 지바 세세라메 모송네 다다다라 노도 삼동라도 기바 가동롱라 거르반 다다다라 노도 마상 칸로 조텐 000Songs 신감이 법원 칸로 소한 남아지수 검강이 만의 샤초 신감서 법원 칸로 뒤변나 모바리가비 신세 좀된 콜로 대초도 제네슨고 돈에서 구상대비 사세를 카로마보 소마유 조절반이네 때문에开心미베 치마초 주마면베 자산제 실험남보 메소지 장초sem제 장초sem제 공주지 대반 대반 준비 소마치 이些랑 이미 왕유견 이些님이 왕유견我对我问的我去chose那在马路上呢对我是要不的吧
Yes, sir. So then I will read this song. Drupon says it's a very nice song. So this is a song by Milarepa. O you who are faithful and well destined, who invoke me with resounding tones of distress, listen, excellent disciples, clad in cotton. I am Milarepa. In the emptiness of my all-pervading Dharmakaya, there is neither gain nor loss. My earthly body was dissolved into all-embracing emptiness. All its ordinary relics and the evolved crystals became a single stupa emitting lights. For all sentient beings who seek to earn merit, this is the sacred object. Its seat of dwelling will be the Buddha realms, and its guardians of the 5 classes of Dakinis. Celestial beings and Dakinis will revere and worship it. It will vanish if left behind in the realm of human beings. As for your share, my disciples, I awakened your innermost awareness, identical with the Dharmakaya. For this is the holiest of all sacred relics and evolved crystals. In your striving toward illumination, you will face errors of judgment regarding similarities and differences. Absorb them without forgetting and discriminate accordingly. Associating yourself with a spiritual father who is a perfect Lama, and associating with a person of good quality resulting from his past karma. Even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Perceiving the innate emptiness of your awareness and dwelling in a non-conceptual state induced by mind, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. reaching an original state of naturalness in meditation, and clinging to a mere shell of quietude which mind has enforced, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. The inward dawning of a spontaneous self-release, and being mentally aware of concepts that seem right, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Perceiving the stainless nature of mind in its nakedness, and serving others out of kindness for their benefit, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Signs of attainment emerging from one's efforts in inward realization, and gaining material wealth in abundance owing to one's past karma, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Prophecies of the Dakinis, upholders of supreme wisdom, and the resounding call of supernatural forces, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Unfailing support of the guardian Dakinis, and tempting obstacles schemed by the forces of Mara, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. The stainless sphere of the Dharmakaya, and the relics of earthly substance, even though the two appear equally worthy of veneration, beware of misjudgment. The blossom of the Nirmanakaya, arising out of all-encompassing emptiness, and the celestial flower from the heavenly realm of sensory pleasure, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. A stupa contrived by obstructive forces, and another created through the miraculous acts of the Yidam, even though the two appear to be alike, beware of misjudgment. The cosmic mansion with its dome of light and rainbow arch, and the rainbow and light of natural phenomena, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Faith originating from past karmic links, and faith induced by circumstances, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Veneration arising from the depths of the heart, and veneration produced out of modesty and concern for conformity, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. Striving most earnestly toward enlightenment, and hypocritically pleasing one's Lama for the material pursuit of this life, even though the two appear alike, and beware of misjudgment. Seeking to realize one's aim through perseverance, and throwing verbal resolutions to the wind, even though the two appear alike, beware of misjudgment. The stupa in the custody of Dakinis, keepers of wisdom, being in the realm of enlightened ones, past, present, and future, is the celestial mansion for awakened Dakas and Dakinis, and is the meditation cell of Yoa Lama Chedzun. There is in the east a Buddha realm where a mandala of Dakinis is gathered. In this supremely joyful realm dwell the glorious Chakasambhara, Avalokiteshvara, and Tara. In this absolutely peaceful realm awaits the multitude of Dakinis to welcome this stupa. If you make invocations from the recesses of your heart, then do so with spontaneous tears of joy. This object of veneration is so wonderful. Shower it with wisdom, sprinkle it with water of enlightened attitude, and let your excellent and unwavering faith be your protection. If you wish to receive initiation into the non-dual illumination, place your head directly beneath the stupa.
我写总没跟看着嘛，那就秋天不见，那就天给那么切就秋天里不见这我操我在这处忘过了，现在拍起呗秋天挺难的，几最过来切人处，过切人处呗那么看了那连几把都接上了嘞，可罗等小了嘞上网对吧？那嘞几最嘛。 经过他让他们把对没把我是通信，做图卡了，他们经过的南瓜屋就是这点他小说从，但那从完了，昨天呢很多嘛，那就他那说那在他去，什么节专门写个，然后就的确保如加上这边小说的点场所嘛，同为来来就最能够切几件，来来今天把这个来这个来切别讲了。看着地基去代办着吧，切做着多些泡沫地方，看着嘛，上边没接，都当家在入毛当基本，那从出版不行，光的下手去全版通，昨天是能看着嘛，那就看他这个路，干嘛那些去他这个路。脱离了，点长嘛通嘛，所就2000美元在上呢，大上边没接吧，这把不了那都，我真的在记住给，但是昨天就有啊。我昨天这看到这个的老马这种不前这种过去啊，我也忙了这过来是，我提前了，咱看听昨天这通南站没站，他被等票这么几多这么站没站，某某在通的市场嘛，起码这昨天嘛就去的图卡厅，这里他拿出这里刚在那老的这，他把小说的尝试是的，通南站没站，某某穷的是的，他这个。
And so then the Dakinis moved the stupa to space, and then the stupa touched the light of the stupa and touched the crown of each disciple, and in this way they received empowerment, and then they began to see different deities, some saw Hivacha, Chakasambhara, and so forth, and then at the end then this tukara karatim son this go and so then all of those dirams that were perceived by the disciples, they then dissolved into the heart of Milarepa in that stupa, and so then various dagas and dakinis held various parasols and banners, and then carried the stupa off into the eastern direction. And so there were many other wonderful signs of many kinds. So,
jitu ke zong gu me be jitu zong da ba che nam ga le chu de lo ko nam te za dung ga ma ji che ran nan se me dung ke do amol le ka ngo la yin zhu xie chung ba mo hu den yu be cha ke go tu cho xie ja ba chu me por kan por xu be cha ding wo ze be dung tian xin por do de ni be dung ke chi ba sang ma chu tu o te ne por do te tu ta da ga chu wa la wen be ke be ji chu wa la shu ba yin o si o ta de工作的罗马子说的东开西说的不对东啊西做吧的不对这几次中着吧这个没吧几次中着吧这其他甚至没过是多的应出些的说的是的保守啥的咋这些你的几次中天这工作东开西北人家唱的是不多的他去玩的时候也是我这不多你有了就是更多你穷了再来不起了或者学着才来不多也有是吧可是呢，伢子说嘛，估计股东节股子牛栏松松啊，我这股的这出来了，哈，不多节有事吧
？And so then the disciples were all heartbroken at having no share of the relics, and so they cried and offered a supplication prayers, and then they heard out of space a voice that resembled the voice of Milarepa, and then that voice said, do not despair, as you will have a share of relics. There is this marble slab, this stone, on which have appeared 4 sacred syllables carved. Go and search for it below the rock base of this cremation cell. And so then the disciples did so, and they found exactly what they had been told. And then they were relieved of all their grief, and they had found those relics, which they then brought to Chuar. And they actually were and there was a set of 2 relics that were then left behind by Milarepa, and so one part was brought to Chua and the other one was brought to Lapchi, and that is because you remember before the people of Nyanang they were not so happy at not receiving any of the relics. So there was some conflict before, and so that is why the relics were then divided into two parts.
Tene Richung Novaji, Dapa Metomaji, so gentle gara doboji, Yege, Dindo Belabic, Dona for Donde, San Rek, Richung the Topic, Siban, Shona, Domna, Simja Gigi, Jan, Ram, the Nosi Rixi, Mianson to Tarai, Malaji, Sibi, Dingin, the Sietan, Kojera, Kome, Koi, Chinji Laba, Simjana, Navi, Simjan Namsu, Kank Nava. Main energy to Bana, Teba Jibana, Jeva due to me to set up the chamber, Java command and the know that Melazi Repazerio should be Manam, the color Japon Joke, Chaba, Lobe Fujanam, the two chairs and young Chiva, you be say, Sonti to be good shaggy table, she Jones. What are you to Teleloa, de la Loa, Yana Losh on the Saturday, Kalosha, Consultaji to Cortoma Jagres, Zandota, Combination.
And so then the chief disciples were certain that they would be born among the foremost future disciples of Chidzin, wherever he attained enlightenment, even though for the time being they were aggrieved at his departure to another realm. They were also certain that all aspects of Chidzin's life would fulfill the great purpose of the Dharma and satisfy the need of sentient beings. The foremost disciples were even confident of achieving their goals for themselves and for others through their dedication to the path of liberation. La. Dina sungita.
Dina tatri do Nima zundu karzong zeng ngam ta jeju xiexian kar xiao zhe da jala kha xie gu pia jia suan de jia su de ngam la be zia za xiao sama ta gan de yo be yo什么se zia za xiao le te te la yi ye chi xiu se ne jiang su gu pia jiao se la ta ti tong da xiexian te da xue.
Also in the past, when Milarepa was alive, he told his disciples that he will leave something behind for them. He will leave behind for them all the gold that he had accumulated, and that they could find that below a stove together with some letters. And he said that when you find it, you should divide it amongst yourselves. And so then the disciples, so then now coming back to the story here, the disciples reached an unanimous agreement that they should search for gold beneath the hearth, as directed by Jetson in his will. So this was because Milarepa told him when he was alive. Even though, judging from his way of living, the gold as such might not exist. On digging up the hearth, they found a square piece of white cloth. Wrapped in this was a knife with a cutting blade, the point being an awl, and the back arranged as a steel for striking fire. There was also a piece of raw sugar, together with a note which read as follows: "When cut with this knife, the cloth and sugar will never be exhausted. Cut as many strips from the cloth and as many bits from the sugar as you can, and distribute them among all the people. Everyone who tastes the sugar and touches the cloth will gain liberation from the lower realms, because these things, being the food and clothing of Milarepa throughout his meditative awakening, were blessed by the Buddhas who appeared in the past. Any sentient being who has heard the name Milarepa even once and in whom it produced veneration, will not go through the cycle of rebirth in the lower realms for 7 lifetimes. These things were prophesied by the Buddhas of the past. Whoever says that Milarepa had possessed gold, stuff his mouth with shit. This particular expression of Milarepa's caused laughter among the foremost disciples, even though they were aggrieved by his death. At the bottom of the note, the disciples saw this message, the following message. Also.
Milarepa, Nancy to Soma, Potom Tipo, Gopami, Holokobo, Gakiro, Tia Nekap Tatoji, Godon Chora, Drobai, Xie, Dobe, Deta, Vodo Chamit, Tomne, Tambo Chijun, Nobody Chun, Tene, Reki Dobatan, Courage, Sinjana, Jibi, Sinjan, Longibi, Nita Dungatan, Jan, Nebata, Dungajan, Nita Dungari, Longan, Yomojana, Tebana. 대송 시라 닝제 치바 초신 타링에 손에 타바 초바 이노 브람당 제 마라브리 파도 시미히 용어스 말로 하네요.
So this is what the message said. This was my yogin's food throughout my meditation. It has sustained me all my life. It is the food of compassion, which produces yogic power and enlightenment. Sentient beings who eat this food will close the door of rebirth into the realm of hungry ghosts. The white cotton cloth is the robe of Dumo wisdom. All those who wear it on their body or around their neck will close the door of rebirth into the burning and freezing realms. Those who receive my blessing through my relics will gain liberation from the 3 lower realms. All those who already have a spiritual bond with me will henceforth never be reborn into the lower realms and will gradually attain to complete enlightenment. Those who are capable of responding with trust, even when they only hear the name of Milarepa, will remember their past names and family lineage through 7 past lives. To Milarepa, your undaunted father, the universe is gold. What need have I for a packet of gold dust? My children, strive to live according to my instructions, and you will fully realize your immediate and ultimate goals. So.
Then the Borjin Choba method Charaba, Char Kandonga, Shidan, Haba, Namtana, Meto, Haba, Mizi, Balalan, Larcento, Balas, on Napala, Yendroba, Haba, Zamji, Metebara, Yendroba, Mayaban, Tamacho, Mehibachu, Kando, Sumdia, Jan, make you whatever Salamachaba, Chuba, Hornova, Chun, such ocean, and Dorjoba, some chortos. The method Chaba, the Borshi, method Chaba, the party. Chuba to be a chimbo, such a himba and Dorje, let him do. Method that Kando and Diamond of the Tinchava, how it is, Lando.
And so then there was a rain of flowers falling down, going all the way to Chua and many other places.
Bonjour, Pussy, Jisun, Jabu, Chita, Sone, Tinigu, and young and Dimitri Chan, Nampa, Yataba, Meton, Chababa, Water was Santa Mojala, Songa, Chitaba, Hinjung, we can be Nampa going to Soma, Sala Metona, Soncho, Dictator, Loleta, Jaranju, to Chuba, Yanitani, that's what here we want a daji, but Zamji Machaba, Juji, Manama, to be again, Maman Dere Maku, to what I Jitu. The Borchava Sasam, the dates of Papa collection of Dorjes. The Jesu, Jetan, Deju to Chankasi, not to do the Jawu Sharianda, Romo Dana, Hoyanda, they Sally, Bukaina, that's who such a more method Jayano. 我听着我的是你看在内蒙出所了，所以写图片了，他听着有的是毛毛他一个古没意思。
And so then all of these spectacular signs and then slowly disappeared. And then on every anniversary of Milarepa's death, all of these signs again appeared. For example, celestial fragrances and flowers growing. And this was actually a miracle because it's very cold in Tibet. And so many of these signs would always appear in the same way as on the day of the Jetsun's passing.
我从这边那叫我去买了Repa他会先也别在那那说的没钱，突击上忙了上不去，路就那么出发特别基本，那么干嘛的是咱们没这，所以这块的咱们就会那就父母把这么那把写，你把从为上节点把你们在这去生产那看他出去动啊，军队里多把这去对吧？咱军队那个把人弄是吧？他就是没很多对应呢。就是没得，他突击忙了接到嘛，忙不在出发头基本忙不穷。我真是咱们的娘们亲呀，这上级没钱忙不穷，这上级得把你妈那些生前那个他都去东岸里吧，车特别很多，这边去就对吧，特别很多就做不了。
And then in the end, it says, then in summary, through Milarepa's infinite compassion, many disciples have achieved realization, a state of no return to samsara. Many have entered the path to liberation, and many sentient beings are guided away from temporary and ultimate suffering, and they are guided toward happiness and the root of happiness.
研究完学们来这把这那这边咱们讲这把啦，今年做呢，今年咱们做呢，主动出来个别，这个就因为今年这把这现在把这就没几个能看到，两边主动这个，那边的中医吧，我他是就是没得，这把忙忙这提拿了的，这把今年假期把这人提起，那边的中医吧的也是，那我那做了。
你有中医吧吧？
我听着哪是呢？
And so then at the very end, it says so. So this was the 12th chapter of the many enlightened activities of Milarepa. So.
我当时嘛，就是接触去罗马出头，就是看着龙点小路了，就是当时嘛，就是出头你真啊有了，就是没落的，但是没落，你去做脚嘛，我记着吧，没嘛落脚了吧。
And at the end, there's a list of names, the names of 21 siddhas, which
25.
were after 25 siddhas, which were Milarepa's disciples. So Rinpoche is just going to read those names next.
예수 장라 예담 개롱 lembe게 다르 콜로레 바시바부 제제두 나람 제니마데 냠미 차고 름보 진다바 데베 중도 지샤파 주카라데 진롱 진행 종종바 장주부 제부 상 자춤미 제시 레바시바부 투라스바 레바 니상 지치라 레바 무금 진지라 제금 레바 장마 상지 잡데 투세 지 이금 레바 랭금 레바 메금 레바 잡 레바 카충 레바 롱중 레바 다봉 레바 레바 왕주这全国的把咱们往就他把家伙来块钱的老通根据交通下载困难这种摘新把的你别是就从突些他个人不知道你别是起码啊呢说他去能把件切入啊引路从啊提供嘛这种嘛让咱啥的我用他们边帮节目别当公司那么这那么就生些的我他提起了上咱他去别多的사람 타치비 내절 보면 있잖아. 어떻게 사람 메이트 사람 타치데 내절 보면 있잖아. 그래서 사람 타치서 좀 있잖아지. tinjo들이 나타 zebore pasatela sobe. C'est sempre 내로 통데 도대자. 我这让就娘下的贡献家，这边呢，他在穷这top的别，他忙不有的是吃饱忙不，
So these were the names of 25 yogins who have reached the furthest limits of the bhumis and the paths. And then after that, names of the various ripas who had realized the nature of their minds, and the 100 great meditators who have gained great meditative experiences, and many more. So.
Ziburepa la sobe kanchen jene lo bran ji ba do de chen do ba na ju ke kum nyam sam bon chung me kum pere kum ba tu choro ba dang lam na chota to be ji chen tam ba jia zan ji ne cha ba dang be chu dang tu be kum chen lo ma lam na si ba dong za ji chu de to ba mi song ju nam ji ba du ja gan de ji wu ji lin de ba mi pro lo na chen len chen a wa ta chen len chen a de ning wa cha什么 la so be ti ma ma yi ke an ka sho la ma mo bo yo re song do ba.
And then here at this point, there are also the names of the non-human disciples of Milarepa who had attained accomplishments, such as the 5 Tsering sisters and so forth.
Or the Nima Chasmola Sokacho, Mama, Yiki, Holo, Namji, Malamba, Choma, Zinan, Shiva Yebi, Choban, Portishavan, Robin, Tarji, Gashi, Chochu, and Setan, Gunji, Setan, Drupon Rinchen Dorjee Rinpoche, Tahoran Buki, Nana of the Larian Chombi, Tahoran Bujung Chiron, Name Gachan, the Yashumbi, Yanong Charsun Jene, Maching Uyata, Chankara, Napune, Loju, Yetimi, and Torne. So Shane Tunda Name Menga Tunda Zuran Devan and Zibane Gambo Namta to say Los, Rechon the Gambo Kona de Saku, Rechon de Johnny Chunguzans, or that is on what control the board Chusatra Loma Samate, board Chavas Sane, Tata Jisukan, so Rechon Jam, Cedrubanyam race, Rechon Kita, Tahorambochi, Jitunan Shale, Agaruk, Carvajeda, Shamoje Yura, Mechpe Uya. 我这做接的，他根本要拍出来马下去。我那些根本拍是这种，就是没这种的根本上面推出这个小子了的，但是工作他主要你们毛不起推出这根本来不上嘛，对吧？我这期现在这线上的也能特色，也能普特色，也的是啊，这把普的是这种的普的，根本把前把的套的用的是其他这根本能上嘛有的是，我这呢，根本别这种把连续呢。 Tala Gambo Dende Shunet and the Rechung Dencho and you got Gambo Pakon San is on the
Get the young dog.
and introduce that in Jingo.
Yeah, that's all. The Rechumba
that follow some that Borg Chavas Matsarava. That Borshus Satara, the Borg Chavas Matsarava. 제가 손도 지수단 참여하고 보고 그래서 참마트를 중점에 세트 주반양 베스 어떤에 레중바데 타고는 뭐지 이마 지수 나샤래 감보바 나샤 매치베 의자제 나다 매치베 의자제 아가 카르바선 창칸도 요라 어떤지 요라 어떤서 키디 손레스 감보바야 남의 이마 종찰에 다치바티 쇼아지 요라티 투소 채널이 야를 용표레스 남가 토레스 남가 투기다 감보바베 남아공바 조사를 하고 비 샘조네 디사 쳔바토레스 그 쳔바토르스도 되게 다 zorba 제메가 zorba 다레스 되게 레중바 다가 감보 덴덴션 레중 연주에서 다 보는 뭐 zen레스
레중바 공기 닝규송라 다 보는 거 제라라
레중 연주 말아리 지반로 말아요
and then again, this part is not in my part of the text, anyways. So this concludes the songs of Milarepa for his disciples. So this is the end of his teachings to his disciples, and after he had passed into Nirvana, all of his disciples then departed into mountain retreat and practice for all their life. And so then there was the agaruda matripa gishamo dikara gambopagi
agaruda karwarwa la seno la fedi no
yeah dikara chire
Tingin jagali ni machi Milarepa na ba shamo te da tinibo tahono mo tole chi ko zero wanga ma.
Di Milarepa ki Gambopa la nara.
Re te ta re chung ma ki son lo.
In region ki curry.
Te re chung ki son lo Gambopa ta Milarepa nge ma ta sho zi la sho ba ti ti ju so te ga ta te chen ya li ne. To to lo sha te ba le to yo ma ba.
So in the past, Milarepa gave an agaro like planned to Gambopa, and also Milarepa's meditation head. And so he gave that to Gambopa, and Gambopa wanted to bring this when he heard that Milarepa invited all of his disciples to come. That was just before he passed away. And so he was on his way, and he tried to make it in time, but he couldn't make it in time. And then when he knew of Milarepa's passing, Gambopa himself lost consciousness for a brief while, and then when he awoke, he supplicated the Guru. And so this extensive supplication can be found in Gambopa's life story. And so anyways, then he offered these sacred objects to Rinchen, the ones that he was bringing with him, and then also invited Rinchen to the Daklagambo Hills, Gambopa's main seat. And there Rinchen then gave the instructions on the kind of the close lineage of the Dakinis to Gambopa.
tene zade te la ba nima ta la ta ho ren bo ji la dan da ba se dan da be se pa ju ji la na ra sho la sho je chung ji ju ma la de nima de lu ke chin bo yin sho la je chung ba la te la yu de je chung ba la ji man kan ru long tian chen ma do gom jia de chen ko sa ma ta ho ren bo te tu su chen ma do wo ti le to ma de se.
The reason why he didn't make it on time was because in the past, Milarepa said that he told them that on the on a certain 11th day of the month, you have to come. That is a very important time. He told that to Rinchen and Gambopa, and so not directly, actually. The Dakinis gave the instruction to Gambopa, but there was not to Rinchen, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So the reason why Rinchen made it in time and not Gambopa was because the Dakinis actually told Rinchen in a prophecy early enough, but they didn't tell Gambopa, and that's why Gambopa did not arrive on time. Okay. So then after, oh yeah. And so then after having given these instructions to Gambopa, Rinchen left to his own place, and later Rinchen attained the rainbow body and departed to the Kini realm in space without leaving his mortal body behind. And then also the heart sons Shiva and Shira also attained Shiva and Shira they also attained a rainbow body and didn't leave a mortal body behind. And then there were those 4 female disciples, the 4 sisters, and 3 of them attained the rainbow body. And so these were Rajungma, then Badabum, and Salevu. So those 3 female disciples also attained the rainbow body and departed for the realms of the Dakinis.
남장 군륜대랑 가지고 정바 인노 현나 그 이주 대반사 남자를 가지고 정바 인노 두세 남지 구세 되니라 가지고 정바는 연세진 공사 지바당 이주 대바당 동다 현재바당 지내서 리본 조지 대바 승자 동지바 인노 대단 투몽지 캠페인 제바 좀다 조조 시바 년년 대변 제바 고대 연세진 친구시 원산 제바 중이고네 제제 루지 그가 이행아의 당니 잡다 도진 창 친구 공방년의 상지 신감 탐지 장신 타바다 승자의 민로라고 기본 초라 말아레바 도진 남타를 해바 도진 남타 승지 현바 가자 승제 지기 변조를 주면치 봐 주는 조르와란 제베 게레 가통 친구 되니 게신 자시바레 페르와 조르도 기본 초라 지스말아레바 남타 노르운치는 원존대 제근 상지 군지 대변 님몽 지바디 섬전 군지 공도 제바 공제바 공만 남진 쳐봐 추원조 남타라 통다 년아 연제조 개바 남은 개배 조반지建筑 통조 남타라 제제 대구 본로요 주방 연중建筑 통조 남타라 동제 되니 예매베 내조를 냠용 상부 냠용 建筑 통조 남타라 통마 주지 로데 조 자당 오지안자나 가동조 남달조 바 제바 오메 donde 조젠조 가동조 남달전 바 제바 제다 군장센데조 베 가동조 남달바 통니 후제 젠지조 동지 베 가동조 남달장 베 주베 공파조 온지가 히드로베 온지가 히드로 가동조 남달에 두제 그러와 마르주바 감성 심장 군제 동지 쇼가 가동중에 특전 전체 저를 해봐 dorje 남산 rinchen 세미 남산 남지 세미 남지 반대 도와 용지 그나 지게 공도 가통 제지 베로리아 텔라 삼남다 초바 부게 공도 들어봐 담난 코르바 당에 코르베 메토 통한 이제 나와 나나 내도 저게 내보 저와 나의 이행아의 면초도 차라 당내 삼이 노르진 포마 동아게 신전남라 심지어남라 동용케 바페 노르든다 가서 개바주바인 조그지게 게레 콘소 군의 존에 말아리 변세 토바 센데 도지 참 토음네 밤이 구베 가자 로그 제 그게 베라 구베 토산 누파 톱체레 오바 신도 로버트 조리 내종 원수 말아리 넘버 타르완데 타르웨 남통데 남진 고친 사제반데 지수 남타르 마한테 통내 장 투모케 많이 비 흘러는 기대 좀 제다와 신도 도루르베니 이제 내저 도루 루베진자 프로 동단 정부 야세 지라 마상 칸로 되베 내천 라지 로 강게 잡아 예고고바데 제바상 심지어나 편토베 자신부 그와 마통파트 용화를 줄지 뭐타 지주면에 남타한테 토나 배차는 통해 니지나데 뉴모 통해 니지나세는 남면다고 줄거리스 데 동아르키제 가르 개와미 바제 우공다 쇼디나 데 개웨케 노르만다고 줄거리 소와텐도 와텐두레 스타 남타한테 남타한테 냠내치나 제 도제창 공방 톱거리 스테네 다 등고반도 우리도 테네 다 디나래 콘 좀바보 장용 해르가와 장용 해르가 남타 망보지 통송 스타티남 대장 대지축에 홀롬 남송 켜서 좀 망보스토 지동 저 제이디네 데라치 세세요 랍치라 대장용 해르가 저 제이 세와튼 템바타 심지한테 편 토바쇼 편 토쇼 어떤 그런 맛만 봤을 때 토쇼 세타만 한다고 대단도
and then in the end it says that whoever hears the story, the life story of Milarepa, will eliminate the 5 poisons, the afflictions from their minds, and if they experience the suffering of poverty arising from negativity, they will find the jewel of virtue. And whoever practices according to Milarepa's life example, according to these songs, will attain the state of the Buddha Vajradhara. And then in the end, there is a dedication prayer. So the author of this text is Changyong Haruka, and he compiled he compiled the life story of Milarepa by compiling the various stories from the disciples, from Milarepa's disciples, and he compiled these songs in Lapchi. And in the end, he says, may this compilation of Milarepa songs serve the benefit of the teachings and of sentient beings, and may they remain for as long as samsara exists. And this brings our 100,000 songs of Milarepa to an end. So this is the end of the 100,000 songs, and it really was wonderful to go through that with you. And it's also a very auspicious day actually to complete the songs. It's the 25th day of the month, which is the Dakini day, and just naturally happened to end on that day. So I'm extremely happy about that too. And this took quite some time. It took a long time, and also apologize for taking so much time. Sometimes I didn't have time. So it really took us a while to go through it. But I hope and I pray that you will all benefit from this. And also I want to thank Amy because she was the one who really started this teaching series. And because of her, we were able to go through those songs, and I'm very, very happy about that. And so thank you, everyone, and Dashitele. And thank you to everyone who joined the teachings and everyone who helped out with the teachings. And thank you, Ina, for translating. So now let's read 000Songs dedication prayer. Somebody here? Is the text on the screen? So Rinpoche can't share it because he's not there. He's on a different Zoom call today.
마르딜라 디케디 카리차나 켄자라 시샤도 라송에 디셔 단다고 나다 깨고도 켄절라 거기에서 말어 라스 지게 단다 지게 Okay.
1点钟起床的是，我他妈老想那的，
Laso.
你哪老
Ina, can you please?
Okay. Okay. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such, and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
谢家贵在，谢家贵在贵前出节节，点这你来往的这个吧，人间把节点把身体把它也着图什么光边几九节的同就。
May the teachings of the great Trigungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you.
So
Lovely
much.
to spend Friday nights with you all. Thank you.
Yes, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And happy birthday.
Oh,
Yeah,
and happy
thank you.
birthday, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Lindsay. 他罗姆哥还接不上。